Throughout Greece, the landscape holds the memory of ancient worlds. Mountains, islands, and coastlines form a stage sculpted by millennia of human history. The same winds still scour the Aegean, currents that have carried explorers and conquerors for ages. Civilization did not begin on these shores. Nonetheless, it was here that something remarkable took shape. People began asking questions that would forge the intellectual foundations of the modern world. What is justice? What defines a good society? How should human beings live? From hilltop city-states to temples dedicated to divine mysteries, ancient Greece became a crucible of ideas. Philosophy, political thought, drama, and science all crystallized within this remarkable region. Our film explores the landscapes where those ideas first emerged. High above Athens rises the Acropolis. For nearly 2,500 years, this rocky outpost has watched over the city below. Empires have risen and collapsed. Wars have reshaped the region countless times. Still, these monuments endure. Visitors first pass through the Propylaea, the monumental gateway that once marked the ceremonial entrance to this sacred precinct. Beyond it unfolds a carefully composed landscape of temples and sanctuaries dedicated to Athena, the goddess believed to protect the city. At the summit stands the Parthenon, the most famous structure of them all. Built in the 5th century BCE, the temple honored Athena Parthenos, Athena the Virgin, and symbolized the confidence of Athens at the height of its power. Its form appears calm and harmonious, defined by balance, proportion, and quiet precision. Nearby, the Erechtheion graces the slope, its porch supported by the caryatids, sculpted female figures who have held their vigil for 2 millennia. This ground enshrines the legendary contest between Athena and Poseidon for the patronage of the city. On a smaller terrace overlooking the entrance rises the Temple of Athena Nike, dedicated to Athena as the bringer of victory. From here, Athenians could watch ships returning to the harbor of Piraeus, a reminder that military success and maritime trade were essential to the city's prosperity. Taken together, these buildings formed far more than an architectural vision. They expressed the ideals of a society that believed civic life, artistic excellence, and devotion to the divine were inseparable. The Acropolis therefore represented more than aesthetic achievement. It symbolized a bold political experiment. Athens developed a system in which citizens participated directly in governing their city. In an era dominated by monarchs and empires, this was a radical departure. In gathering spaces such as the Agora, citizens debated laws, policies, and the direction of their society. From these discussions emerged the earliest form of democracy. Intellectual life flourished alongside political innovation. A philosopher named Socrates walked the streets asking difficult questions. Rather than offering answers, he challenged others to examine their assumptions. His student, Plato, later founded an academy devoted to philosophical inquiry. From this tradition emerged Aristotle, a student of Plato, whose work would profoundly influence disciplines ranging from logic and ethics to biology and political theory. Within a few generations, Athens transformed the intellectual landscape of the Western world. Beyond its storied ruins, the capital remains the political and economic heart of Greece, descending southwest to where the city meets the sea at the port of Piraeus. For centuries, it has been Athens' maritime gateway. Today, it remains one of the busiest ports in Europe. Shipping continues to play a vital role in the Greek economy. In fact, Greek-owned shipping fleets rank among the largest in the world, transporting goods across global trade routes. Universities and research institutions add yet another dimension to the city's identity, continuing a tradition of intellectual life that stretches back thousands of years. Independent media, universities, and cultural organizations contribute to a dynamic civil society. The spirit of debate that once animated the ancient agora continues in modern form. Yet beyond the urban landscape unfolds another side of Greece entirely. To the northwest, across the Ionian Sea, a chain of islands reveals a different cultural heritage. Off Greece's western coastline extends the Ionian archipelago. Among the most celebrated of these islands is Zakynthos, Its limestone cliffs plunge dramatically into brilliant turquoise water. One of its most famous sites, Navajo Beach or Shipwreck Beach, nestles within a cove surrounded by towering rock walls. Nearby, sea caves glow in shades of deep blue, carved slowly by centuries of waves. Further north awaits Kefalonia, the largest island in the group. Mountains rise above quiet fishing villages, where life follows a slower rhythm shaped by the sea. Along the sheltered coast, small harbors gather clusters of boats, their presence a reminder of traditions that have endured for generations. The island's terrain is strikingly varied. Even so, Kefalonia's beauty is not only in its scale, but in its sense of balance between rugged terrain and human settlement, isolation and connection. Perhaps nowhere best illustrates the region's unique cultural heritage than Corfu. For centuries, the Ionian Islands remained under Venetian influence rather than Ottoman rule, a history reflected in an architectural character that is unmistakably Italian. At the edge of the old town rises the old fortress, its massive stone walls extending into the Ionian Sea. Originally fortified during the Byzantine era and later expanded by the Venetians, it was designed to withstand the shifting tides of empire. From here, defenders could command views of both sea and land, a strategic vantage point in a region long contested by rival powers. Further inland stands a newer fortress, constructed by the Venetians in the 16th century. Its tiered defenses and imposing ramparts reflect the evolving art of military engineering. Together, these fortifications transformed Corfu into one of the most formidable strongholds in the Mediterranean. Yet beyond its walls, Corfu reveals a different character. In the old town, pastel-colored facades evoke the atmosphere of Venice, a reminder of centuries of close connection across the sea. This blend of Greek and Venetian traditions gave rise to a distinctive cultural identity. A short sail from these lush islands, the Greek mainland emerges, the Peloponnese, a rugged peninsula of mountains and ancient cities where Greece's earliest chapters were written. It is a landscape of contrasts, where natural harbors once linked the region to the wider Mediterranean and ancient kingdoms flourished amidst myth and history. Ideas that would later influence the course of Western civilization gained ground. In antiquity, this region played a decisive role in shaping the Greek world. Among its most significant sites is Olympia. Here, in 776 BCE, a tradition was born that echoes to this day. The Olympic Games. Athletes from across the Greek world gathered to compete in honor of Zeus. During the Games, conflicts between rival city-states were temporarily suspended. Competition replaced warfare. Victors received lasting recognition. The events celebrated discipline, strength, and excellence, values that would come to define Greek identity itself. Among the most distinctive societies of ancient Greece was Sparta. Unlike the cultural and intellectual life of Athens, Sparta developed a system centered on discipline, endurance, and collective strength. From an early age, male citizens underwent rigorous training designed to produce skilled soldiers. Individual ambition was subordinated to the needs of the state within a highly structured society. A dual kingship, supported by a council of elders, governed a small citizen elite ruling over a much larger population of laborers. However, its achievements came at a cost. Cultural expression and intellectual life played a smaller role here than in other city-states. Sparta offers a different answer to how a society should be organized, one defined not by debate and inquiry, but by order and resilience. At the very foundation of the Greek story is a history that reaches even further back. Long before the philosophers of Athens or the disciplined society of Sparta, another civilization flourished here. Its rulers built fortified citadels, extending their influence across the Aegean and leaving a legacy that would echo through myth and memory for millennia. To understand these origins, we continue north, to Mycenae. Perched on a rocky ridge overlooking the Argolid Plain stands the citadel of Mycenae. These immense stone walls date back more than 3,000 years. Their massive blocks were so imposing that later generations believed they must have been built by giants. Entry to the citadel passes through the Lion Gate, the oldest surviving monumental sculpture in Europe. Beyond the gate, the citadel unfolds across the hillside, royal tombs, ceremonial spaces, and the remains of a once powerful palace. At its height, the site was the seat of a culture that commanded the Greek mainland throughout the late Bronze Age. From this stronghold, rulers controlled the vital routes to the Mediterranean. Even in ruin, the scale conveys a sense of authority, a landscape shaped as much by power as by geography. Tradition links Mycenae to Agamemnon, the legendary leader of the Trojan War. Such stories reflect the deep impression this place left on the ancient world. Yet, around the 12th century BCE, the civilization collapsed amid widespread upheaval. Cities were abandoned and trade networks disintegrated. For centuries, much of Greece descended into a dark age. Through it all, oral tradition and epic poetry allowed these stories to endure, continuing to shape the very heart of Greek identity. A short distance from Mycenae lies one of Greece's most elegant coastal towns, Nafplion. Its harbor curves along the Argolic Gulf, framed by fortresses rising above the sea. But the city's history reaches far deeper than its picturesque appearance suggests. During the Byzantine era, it developed into an important maritime trading hub. Over the centuries, control of the town passed through many powers. Frankish crusaders ruled here. Later came the Venetians, whose influence remains visible in the city's elegant arcades and Mediterranean architecture. Strategic defenses became central to Nafplion's identity. High above the town rises the imposing Peloponnese fortress, constructed during Venetian rule in the early 18th century. Its walls climb the steep hillside in a series of bastions designed to repel invading armies. Out in the harbor stands the small sea fort of Bortzi, guarding the entrance to the port. Together, these fortifications transformed Nafplion into one of the most defensible harbors in the eastern Mediterranean. The city also played a crucial role in the birth of modern Greece. Following the Greek War of Independence, Nafplion briefly became the first capital of the newly established Greek state in the 19th century. From here, the institutions of modern Greece began to take shape. Today, Nafplion's seaside promenades and neoclassical buildings reflect a city where ancient foundations, medieval fortifications, and civic life coexist. Across Greece, landscapes are layered with memory. Ancient temples rise above modern cities, while mountain valleys overlook coastlines that have connected cultures for thousands of years. The past endures not only in ruins and museums, but in language, traditions, and cultural imagination. From the democratic debates of Athens to the birth of the modern Greek state in Nafplion, this landscape reveals the foundations of a civilization that profoundly shaped the world. Philosophy, political thought, literature, and scientific inquiry all found early expression here. Yet, Greece is not a relic of antiquity. It is a vibrant European nation whose culture continues to evolve while remaining deeply aware of its remarkable heritage. In the next episode, we travel further back in time to the island of Crete. Here, Europe's earliest advanced civilization flourished long before the rise of classical Greece, a world of maritime trade and elaborate palaces. It was also the birthplace of legends, among them a tale of a labyrinth and the creature said to dwell within it, the civilization of the Minoans. If you enjoyed this exploration of Greece's landscapes and history, consider subscribing to Athena World Journey. Your support helps us continue creating thoughtful documentaries about the world's cultures, landscapes, and civilizations. Thank you for watching.